it's Dr. Kristie Ennis. If I was stranded on a deserted island, and doesn't that sound like a dream? These are the 10 stretches that I would put in my back pocket to use for a rainy day. However, if I'm on a deserted island, there's probably no back pockets either. But these are stretches that make me feel absolutely fabulous, which is an awesome show also, and hopefully they will make you feel just as good. First one, you're gonna lie on your bed or on a mat, whichever is better for you guys. You're gonna bring your feet, though, about mat width apart, so a little wider than hip width apart. Arms out if it feels okay. Both legs are gonna drop over to one side. Just pause briefly, keeping that shoulder blade down. Inhale in the middle, and then exhale to that other side. And all of these are gonna make me go, ah, today. So as we do this, we're stretching out two different directions of the hip. So you'll feel it differently on each side, and you are gonna feel it in the spine some too. So great one to start loosening up those hips and that spine. Shoot for about 5 on each side. Still working through those hips and spine. We're gonna get happy baby variation here. So you're either gonna grab behind your legs, or if you can, the outside of those feet, or even if it's more comfortable, and I know this isn't exactly like yoga, but you can even grab the inside of those feet. So you're bringing your knees towards those armpits, really letting those hips open. I'm gonna grab the outside of my feet because this just feels good. Just like a little baby, right? You can add a little rock side to side. I definitely encourage you to stay here for about 3 to 5 breaths because you'll find that you're able to open a little bit more. And then if you want even a little extra oomph for this one, I love this addition, you're gonna bring the soles of those feet together and then kind of let those soles drop down a little bit. So you're working those inner thighs or opening those inner thighs a little bit more. And you can go back to that little happy baby and do a little bit of a flow like this. If that's too much for you, that's totally fine to just stay here and add that little happy rock. Working on stretching out the piriformis here. So you're gonna take one ankle and cross it over the thigh, not directly on the knee. Level 1 would be then to take that left hand, if it's my left leg, and bring that knee over towards my right shoulder. You don't have to press very far. You just wanna feel a nice gentle stretch in here. If you feel like, okay, that feels good, but I need a little bit more stretch, if you take your hands and bring them underneath the opposite leg, that right thigh, and then bring your leg up towards you, you'll get a little bit more of a stretch. And then if you want even a little bit more, you take, if I've got my left leg crossed, you're gonna bring your legs over to the right side, and that's really gonna get a stretch. Make sure you can still breathe and make sure that it doesn't actually hurt. No stretches should be uncomfortable. If you have been sitting for a while or haven't been moving and you're going to get into this stretch, I do often recommend a little bit of a rock because as you've heard me say, motion is lotion, and we do want to get those surfaces lubricated to move well. If you're going to hold it, you're going to do for about 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, moving into a hands and knees position for these next couple. And we're going to start again, kind of that traditional yoga one of that cat-cow. So you're going to take a breath in, you're going to arch that spine, lift that head, and squeeze those shoulder blades. So we're working through all parts of the spine here, or I should say the entire length of that spine. And then even engaging in through our core a little bit and through some of our postural muscles. Feels so darn good. Told you I was gonna say that about all these since these are my favorite. So shoot for about 5 of these as well. We're getting a little advancement of the hip motion. So still in that same quadruped position, you're gonna shift your hips off to one side and then you're gonna push it back and around. So as you start these, you're gonna get about 3 to 5 on each side. You may start with small circles and then try to that's not a word. Try to increase the size of those circles as you go. Totally okay to bend into those elbows and really kind of lean into where you feel it the most. You're gonna sit back on your heels as best you can. If your butt doesn't come all the way down, totally okay. Do what you can for you. You're gonna lengthen those arms out. Right, so this is kind of our traditional child's pose here. You can add a little rock side to side to really get into those lats and shoulders. But my favorite addition to this is really stretching out those triceps. So from here, I'm gonna rest my arms on the ground, and then I'm just gonna bring my wrists towards the back of my shoulders there, bring my arms in a little closer, and then really press down into it. And oh my gosh, even my rib cage feels really good here. So 3 to 5 breaths like this. I do this one before any exercise that I do, and I will show you a modification too to make it a little easier if it's a little challenging. But notice I'm in a half kneel here. I'm bringing my hands down by my side. I'm lifting this back knee up, and I'm scooching my foot back so I really get a nice stretch in through there. And then I'm gonna shift my weight back as I go to straighten that leg and lift those toes up to the ceiling. Now, I have pretty good flexibility here. If you've got tightness in your hip flexors or hamstrings with this, it's okay if you only do, right, just a little lift. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. And the same thing would go for the leg. If you can't get that knee all the way straight, don't force it. Just make sure that you just feel a nice gentle stretch through the back. So the back leg should feel a stretch in the front of the leg, and the front leg feels a nice stretch in the back of the leg. If that position was tough on your balance or just a tricky position to get into, you can do this standing next to something sturdy. So same concept, I'm gonna bring that back leg back, tuck my tailbone under, so now I'm getting the front of that leg. And then again, same idea, you're gonna shift back, that front toe is gonna lift and I'm gonna push those hips back so I'm stretching out the hamstring. And you would just rock in between these two positions. All right, 2 more to go, standing. We're gonna go with legs wider apart this time. Toes are turned out at about a 45-degree angle. Hands are gonna rest on those thighs. Bring those buns straight down, opening up those inner thighs. And we're gonna dip one shoulder down. Oh, just so darn good on the spine and the shoulder. Inhale in the middle and then exhale to get that other side. You have control about how far you're dipping. I dip, you dip, we dip. So make sure that it actually feels good and let that head go with it if it feels good to about 5 on each side. Last one opens up the shoulders and the spine and the legs, probably the most advanced. So you're gonna take those hands and clasp them behind your back. Make sure you keep a little bend in your knees if you need to because we're coming right on forward. My hips are gonna shift back. I'm gonna fold as far as I feel comfortable, and then I'm gonna bring those arms towards the ground. Oh yeah, really opening everything up. Not done though. So from here, I'm actually gonna bend those knees so I'm in a little bit of a squat and then straighten it back up again. This is the most bang for your buck I think you can get. So shoot for about 5 or 6 of these.